Well, what are the other legal and regulatory compliance requirements associated with different entity structures for law firms?
So for an S corporation, you have the annual minutes, shareholders and directors minutes that you need to keep track of. It's not a lot of work, but you gotta. It's an extra layer of administration again, whereas you don't have it for a sole proprietorship. And you have depending on which state you're operating from, but each state have its own annual reporting requirements. For example, California requires corporations to file an annual statement of information with California Secretary of State, and many other states have different but pretty similar kind of reporting. It's not end of the world. It's pretty quick to do it. You probably need to spend 5-10 minutes a year to get it done. Is it worth the extra $5,000 to $10,000 tax savings? In my opinion, definitely. It's a good return on your time if you can save $5,000 or $10,000 on 5 or 10 minutes extra work in a year. So that's for an S corporation. What I typically like in law firms, the structure of a law firm is a partnership. A partnership could be structured in a different way. It could be structured through an LLP, which is a limited liability partnership, or an LLC, limited liability company. Certain states, such as California, does not allow law firms to run their business as an LLC. So that's illegal. You cannot do that. The California State Bar would not accept or approve your application to run your law firm as an LLC. But you could run it as an LLP instead, limited liability partnership, which is very typical in California and many other states also, to run a law firm with more than one owner, obviously, because it's a partnership, and you would need to be at least two or more partners to be able to run it as a LLP.
Does that
I,
does that provide, sorry, does that provide liability protection for those
yeah.
partners? Is that the
So
idea?
So the limited liability partnership is specifically structured for professionals such as law firms, architects, and CPAs. It's not all businesses or industries can run their business as a limited liability partnership. And the idea behind is that typically it's a partnership. You have two or more partners in a limited liability partnership, and the protection comes from each other, from partnership protection. Basically, let's say I have a partner. You and I are partners, Jody. We run a CPA firm together or a law firm, and in a limited liability partnership, I'm not liable for your misdoing. So if you do something wrong in your profession and a client sues you, I would be protected because we're in a limited liability partnership.
Yeah.
So that's the idea between a limited liability partnership if you compare it to a sole proprietorship or a regular partnership. If it's a regular partnership, which any business can run their business as a regular partnership as long as they have two or more partners. Keep in mind, it's a difference between the limited liability partnership and the regular partnership. And in a regular partnership, you're not protected. There's no protection at all. It's basically as if you're running a sole proprietorship with multiple partners rather than being alone. So if you're running it as a law firm, specifically if you have partners, I would highly recommend to run it as a limited liability partnership, if your state allows that, which California does, or an LLC, a limited liability company. Again, if your state allows that. California does not allow limited liability companies for law firms. Or as a corporation. Corporation has a good protection also from liability perspective. But these are all legal questions that we always consult with a business lawyer before we advise our clients on the entity structure. But from tax perspective, limited liability partnership, LLC, or an S corporation is typically more lucrative for law firms.